Yo, what's up? I've been avoiding creating this very video. Um, uh, the reason being, uh, yeah, it's an emotional, heavy topic. Yesterday, I I went home by bus from Zurich main station to where I live, and it was 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And as I'm entering the bus, before I enter the bus, I look into the bus and I take a look into the bus. No, I analyze the inside of the bus before I even enter it, because sometimes buses are filled with people, and we all know about Corona, etc. So there's this bus, and before I enter it, before I even open the door or enter it, I take a look to see how many people there are, and there's like only 3 people inside. So I decide to enter the bus, and yeah, upon entering the bus, there's like 2 people on the left to me, an elderly couple, and 55, 60 year or 50 to 65-year-old woman on the right, and yeah, I just stand there and wait for the bus to drive off. I'm standing inside the bus already, and this woman to the right of me, this 50-year-old woman, she looks at me and says in Swiss German, "Ja, schau nur mal, du Arschloch." Meaning, in Swiss German, that's it. Yeah, look, uh, just look at me, asshole. And first 1-2 seconds, I didn't really realize what she just did. She she offended me, or at least she tried to. But she basically called me an asshole. And first I was kind of confused. I thought, why would she call me an asshole? I just entered the bus and looked around. Yeah, in the back of my head, I realized, hey, it's probably the way I entered the bus. I really analyzed how many seats there are left, how many people there are. I usually also check out the people who are inside the bus. Like, are they old? Do they look sickly? Do they look ill? Does one of them have a runny nose? Do they protect themselves with a face mask? Yeah, it's probably the way I I checked her out. That's probably the reason why she reacted and called me an asshole and said, yeah, just look at me, asshole. And when I realized that she just offended me, I think a few things happened. I'm currently on a quest to discover my anger, or the source of my anger, or how to deal with anger, or how I'm also learning how anger feels like. And I'm not talking about repressed anger. I'm talking about learning how to express, how to really feel and allow anger, welcome anger, and do what most people do with, not most. I'm discovering I'm learning about how certain or some people deal with anger. Namely, they express their anger. Some people don't express their anger. Some people partially express their anger. They use rational words or whatever. Anyway, I've been on a quest for a couple of years already. I'm learning how to express my anger, how to express anger when I feel it, how to notice anger, etc. Yeah, you get the gist. No, you get what I want to say. So anyway, I think a part of me noticed, this is an opportunity to express my anger. I mean, she's 50 to 60 years old. She called me an asshole. She called me asshole. She doesn't look very strong. So, yeah, it's pretty good opportunity to express my anger in a safer environment, or try a few things out to express my anger. Of course, I wasn't that analytical at that moment in time. I was basically, first I was like confused, or maybe a little bit shocked. But then I noticed, wow, she just offended me. So yeah, now it's my turn to how do you say, to not revenge, to hit back, or to, well, to show her, to express my anger in whatever way. Of course, there are different kind of ways to express anger. What I did yesterday, it wasn't a very conscious decision. I basically, when I realized, wow, it was after 10 seconds after she said it, I just began to stare at her, and basically kind of like this. I just stared at her, and she looked at me, and then she mumbled, yeah, I know all about you. That's what she said. So I didn't respond. I just continued to stare at her, and she said she noticed my staring at her, and she said, "What are you looking at? What are you looking at?" And she began to become more angry, I think. She became angry. Before she wasn't really angry. She just called me an asshole and said 1-2 sentences. But now she slowly became angry. And when I noticed that what I noticed her becoming more angry, I began to smile and continue, and I continued to stare at her like this. And I think this went on like 30 seconds. She basically started to mumble things such as, why are you staring at me? You asshole. Don't look at me. I know all about you. It's probably my boyfriend who sent you, right? Fucking asshole. That's what she said within those 30, 40 seconds. And during this time, I stared at her, and I really tried to express my anger using my eyes and my face. And I even showed teeth. I began to. I think I probably looked like the psycho. I stared at her like this. Yeah, then, and she then yelled out, "This guy's staring at me!" in Swiss German. This guy's staring at me. She turned back to the bus driver and yelled at him, "This guy's staring at me!" Then she stood up and took I think it's a newspaper. She was reading a newspaper, and she stepped 1, 2, 3 steps in my direction, and then told me to stop staring at me, you fucking asshole. I know all about you. I know all about you. Well, I continued to stare at her, and she then attacked me with the newspaper. And at this point, I was very excited. Not necessarily in a positive way. Adrenaline was rushing through me. My heart was beating, racing, and I just by instinct I put up my backpack to protect myself, just like with the shield. And her newspaper hit my backpack like 2 times. Oh, jeez. My heart is racing right now as I'm telling you of this incident. Well, I mentioned there were 2 people on the left to me when I entered the bus. It's like an elderly couple, maybe 70 years old, both of them. And after hitting my backpack with her newspaper 2 times, she tried to connect to my body, but I protected myself. She yelled at them or told them, "This guy is staring at me. He's one of them," or something along of those lines. And they didn't really react. They told her, "Well, why don't you just stare back, or why don't you? Do you have to stare back?" That's what they told her. And she told them, "I won't look away. I won't look away when someone's staring at me." And then she told them, I know all about those people and about him," meaning me. It's my ex-boyfriend who's sending them to me." And I think at that point, the elderly couple must have noticed, wow, this woman in her 50s or 60s is probably mentally ill. She probably has some kind of paranoid, schizoid, or whatever disorder, and it was probably then that my first first pang of not guilt, but like a voice inside me said, "Hey, relax. She isn't the evil. She isn't the bad. She isn't the bad woman. She's just a woman with a mental illness." And I freely admit that part of me must have realized this already earlier, but it was then that I realized, hey, I'm gonna stop escalating things. I'm not gonna stare at her anymore. I'm just gonna keep her in my eyes to make sure she doesn't attack me again. And then there was the bus stop, and she was yelling. Ah! She continued to yell about other men coming up to her or whatever, I don't know. And she left the bus. And I was standing there, and my heart was racing. And well, okay, I've been talking like 17 minutes right now. About those 2 minutes. All in all, it must have been like 2 minutes, all in all. So several things went on in my body and in my head during this time. For one, a part of me, probably the part of which has been repressing my anger for all my life. That part was very excited about an opportunity to battle. Oh my god. Yeah. And that part really didn't care about who it was. That part didn't care. And it was, of course, to my advantage that she wasn't like a big bloke, big muscular bloke, calling me an asshole. She was a woman in her 50s or 60s, kind of frail, thin. So yes, that part of me was very excited about this whole ordeal, this incident. This part of me is probably patting itself on the back, and yeah, Donick, you're not taking any shit anymore in this world. This is the beginning of the beginning. Yeah, because I'd say for most of my life I've been taking shit from other people without adequately defending myself or hitting back. And by hitting back, I'm not talking about physically, as not necessarily not only talking about the physical level, but also talking about on the verbal level. Usually, if someone offends me outside or doesn't matter who, I usually stay silent and and I really begin to analyze things like, well, is this person going to attack me? Usually I'll just stand still and calmly analyze, hey, is this person going to attack me? Or usually I also start to defend myself, like with rational words, like, why are you, why are you, why are you saying this? Or that's not true. I've only done this once or twice, and you are telling me I am always like that. Or yeah, my English isn't the best. My English is very rusty. I mean, my verbal English. I don't talk English, speak English very often. So yep. In hindsight, I wish I didn't just stare at her. I wish I didn't just stare at her. If this situation arose again, I would really like to tell her, yo, hey, why are you offending me? No, maybe not like that way. I would probably say, yeah, you're an asshole yourself. Thank you. Or I don't know. I'd like to express my anger in a verbal way and not like a psycho staring back at her and showing my teeth, or really like how do you say, open my eyes. I really had I really stared at her, like I wanted to what I want to do yesterday was to show her, hey, you can call me an asshole. I'm not gonna cower. I'm not gonna flee. I'm here. Do you want to continue this? Do you want to escalate this? Yep. I also wanted to show her that I'm without fear, or almost without fear, and I showed her my teeth. I also smiled. When I stared at her, after like 10 seconds, I began to smile as I noticed her becoming more angry. So basically, I was staring at her in a psycho way, smiling and smiling by showing my teeth. Also, not the smile with a closed mouth, like this. I also changed my expression from time to time. I smiled and then I did like this. Yeah, it must have been very scary for her. And there's a part of me who is sorry for this whole situation, because obviously I'm very new at this. I'm a complete newbie at expressing anger. Not complete, but compared to other people, I'd say I don't know. I don't freely express my anger. So, yeah, that's 24 minutes already. There's so much going on. I could probably talk an hour about this. Yeah, there's also, I thought about this situation like the last 24 hours. I had a lot of time thinking about this situation. There's a part of me being joyful, like, well, yeah, finally I'm not taking shit anymore. At least I'm not. At least, yeah, I stared back at her. I was basically ready to escalate things. Of course, I didn't hit her. There's no part in me. I don't feel like I don't feel at all. I never thought hitting her back or something. But as I was sleeping, or as I woke up this morning, I realized, wow, if I knew some karate or self-defense, I could have, as she attacked me with her hand, I could probably grasp her hand in a very soft way. I'm not talking about blocking, so severely blocking her punch, no, her attack, because as I said, she was 50, 60 years old. Things go wrong. I could hurt her by just blocking her attack, like if I do this. Although my arm isn't very muscular and thick, I think if I blocked her in a certain way, she probably could have broken her arm or whatever, I don't know. But I could have grasped her arm, like, and in a soft way, not pressing her arm, like in a soft way, and tell her, hey, could you please not attack me anymore, or I have to call the police. Yeah, I've also thinking about another option is to, if someone offends me, I could just slowly or calmly tell the person, hey, could you say that again? Please repeat that, because I'll probably call the police. Do you want me to call the police? And that's also not probably very, yeah, almost 30 minutes. Also, I want to say I realized there are many options to react in such a situation. There are passive aggressive ways. There are full-on aggressive ways. Like I could probably beat her up, but I don't want to do that. There are there are ways, how do you say, pacifist ways. I could probably just back up without or just not react at all. I could react verbally, and even verbally there are like hundreds of different ways to react verbally. Yeah, I really could go on about this like for 90 more minutes. But I'm hungry and I just wanted to let this out. One important thing is I told you at the beginning of this video, it's a goal in my life to express myself more vividly or more visibly or more noticeably. If someone offends you and you go home and cry, this is also a way to express yourself. What I want to do is, I really want to express myself while the source of my anger, no, not the source, while the source of this, well, while the situation in which this whole thing arose is still ongoing. I hope you know what I'm talking about. So basically, I want to be able to to learn how to express myself in a very quick and present fashion. And of course, that's in the final stages, I want to react in a calm. Not necessarily. I want to react in a good way. What does good mean? Good is very relative, very subjective. So I don't know yet, but like a person with a lot of self-confidence could probably just immediately realize, wow, this person is probably has a few problems. I'm just gonna ignore her and move to the back of the bus. Or another way is to hey madam, could you please stop talking that way to me? It's not nice. That's not nice. That's also a very healthy way to react to a 50 to 60 years old woman calling you an asshole for no reason. There are other ways, yeah, of course. So, that's 31 minutes. Yeah. Not sure about putting this video up on YouTube into the public space, but as I said, I want to show myself. I want to start showing myself more to this world, and that means interacting with it more. And one way to do that is to let out my thoughts and feelings. Blah blah blah. So yeah, that's all. I wish I had the time to talk more about this. Maybe in a few weeks or or tomorrow. But I'm very hungry, so I'm gonna make myself something to eat. Yup.